In this lesson, we will be learning how to multiply binomials. Remember, binomial means it has two terms in it. So we are going to multiply um, two binomials together. This is one of the most famous, most important things you will learn this whole entire trimester in this class is how to do this. Later on, you're going to learn you're going to have to learn how to undo this. But for today, our goal is to learn to FOIL, which is really more or less distributing. So FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last, or first, outer, inner, last. So if I ask you to multiply these two binomials, 2x plus 3 is one of the binomials, and 4x plus 5 is another of the binomials, what you're really going to do is you are going to take what's in that first parentheses and you are going to distribute each term. So I am going to take 2x times 4x. Do you notice how these two are both the first thing in each parentheses? That's why it's known as first. But what I'm really doing is I'm taking that term and I'm distributing it through the 4x. So 2x times 4x makes 8x squared. Then I'm going to take my outsides, which is the outside one of the whole term, and this one, the two outsides. Outsides are this way, okay? So the two outsides. So now I will take 2x times 5, and 2x times 5 would be 10x. Okay, now I've done everything everything that I can with a 2x. I have distributed it through the entire second parentheses. So I've done what I can with the 2x. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the 3. And I'm going to take 3 times 4x. Notice these are the two inside terms. Okay, so 3 times 4x is 12x. So that's where I get the inner from. And then I will do the last, which is the 3 times the 5. Notice those are each the last term in each parentheses. So the 3 and the 5 are the last term in each parentheses, and 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, so that's where I get my first outer inner last, or first outside inside last. Then what you just need to do is combine any like terms that you can. And so I do not have any other x squareds to combine that 8x squared with, but I can combine 10x and 12x to make that be 22x, and then I have that 15 left. So when I multiply two binomials, I typically, but not always, get what is called a trinomial here because it has three terms to it. It also happens to be a quadratic trinomial in this case because it has a degree of 2. All right, here's another one. Again, you're going to really and truly distribute, but you can think of it as first, outside, inside, last. So I will take my firsts, or I will distribute the 3x times the first term in the next parentheses. So 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 7, that's my two outsides, my outermost terms. So 3x times 7 is 21x. Okay, I've done what I can with the 3x. Now it's time to move on. Be careful because this is negative 5 right here. So negative 5 times 2x, those are my two insides. Negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. And then negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. And just look to see if you can combine any like terms, which I can. I do not have any other x squareds, but I can combine 21x and negative 10x to make 11x. And then minus 35. Notice how it's usually my two middle terms that I can combine. I just want to point that out because later on you're going to have to undo that. Okay? Again, this is a trinomial with three terms and it's quadratic because it has a degree of 2. All right, here we go. One more time. Again, the first, or distribute that x through. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. Okay? So I get my first term by multiplying the first two things in each parentheses. Then I have done everything I can with my x, and now I need to distribute that negative 8 through. So negative 8 times x is negative 8x, and negative 8 times negative 6 is positive 48. Okay? again, these two middle terms can be combined. So I have x squared minus 14x plus 48. And that's what that one would look like. All right. This is one where people make a common mistake all the time. What people want to do is they want to take 4x and square it, and then minus 7 and square it, because they think that square needs to be distributed. But remember that to square something means to multiply it by itself 2 times. So when I want you to square that quantity, this is what I want you to do. It's really 4x minus 7 times 4x minus 7. Okay? And that's what I want you to do. So if I go back here, 4x minus 7 squared is really 4x minus 7 times 4x minus 7. It is that quantity times by itself 2 times. Okay? And now I'm going to go ahead and follow the same rules. So I will distribute the 4x through. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times negative 7 is negative 28x. I've done what I can with the 4x, and now I will distribute the negative 7 through the parentheses. So negative 7 times 4x is negative 28x. Negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Then, if you combine your terms, you will have 16x squared, negative 28x, and negative 28x makes negative 56x, and then plus 49. All right, moving on, people see something like this, and they believe that this is the same thing as 6x plus 7y quantity squared. But it is not. Notice that one has a plus in here and one has a minus in here. Okay, so it is not the same thing as squaring it. So here we go. 6x times 6x is 36x squared. 6x times 7y is 42xy. I've done what I can with the 6x now. I've distributed it all the way through. And now I'm going to take 7y times 6x, which is, oh, by the way, this last one back here should have been negative 42xy. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. 7y times 6x is positive 42xy. 7y times negative 7y would be negative 49y squared. Okay? And now I'm going to combine my like terms, so I have no other x squareds to combine this one with. So I just have 36x squared. These two can be combined, but I have negative 42xy and positive 42xy, which just makes 0xy, so they drop. And then I have negative 49y squared. All right.